Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever, the cherry popping Tuesday night Q&A from Moffat on Money.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I've got to put my earbuds in and do the thing. So give me a moment, please.
All right.
I'm unprepared.
Ellen is not used to doing live performances. This is kind of a new thing for her. So we'll be patient with her technical inexpertise. What is
If
it?
y'all knew how difficult this
Inexpertise,
was,
unexpertise,
Mhm.
lack of expertise.
Thanks, Clay. You're the best.
Ellen is our standard for running fashionably late. So
I just forget about some of the things. That's all.
it's all right. How is everyone tonight or in the morning? For those of you on the replay crew, we are very thankful for you. Love to have you on the replay crew. Laura left us a little message, and so we're going to give a shout out to Laura. The weather here is quite beautiful. I'm just looking outside, enjoying just a beautiful evening. Sun is kind of setting over the background, and so it is just kind of a relaxed environment, and that's what we're going to have for tonight. If Ellen gets her makeup and everything on, but this is not a formal evening. There is no really planned script. We don't have any necessarily a forethought of what will happen or cover. This is really kind of your time. KP, good to see you. Appreciate you coming. Hope you're doing well on this Tuesday evening. And we picked Tuesday night because honestly, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot else going on Tuesday night. So we thought this would be a good time just to gather the family together, have a little time, have a little fun, have a little fellowship, and maybe share a little information in the process. I was just looking at Ellen trying to figure out if the dogs are behind her, chewing on their bones again, working on them faithfully, I presume. But as always, Chunk and Tulu are here with us. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
That's a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, when I moved it, I hit the button. Yeah, Chunk has taken all three of the juice this time, not just two, all three.
Never
Hey,
enough juice.
KP.
Never enough juice. You might want to turn up the volume on your mic a little bit too.
Well, I
It's a
turned the
little puny.
gain down. Let me. I can't see. Hang on. Okay, the pattern is weird. The volume.
We'll do up a little sheet for Ellen of things that you should do before you go live.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Between Two Towns, happy to see you as well. Welcome on a Tuesday night. Glad to have you.
Yeah, we had a rough
KP, enjoy hearing you talk about whatever you want to talk about. So just here for the ride. Hopefully it's an enjoyable ride. People like you make it a whole lot better on our side. I will freely
definitely
admit. Thank you. And also, sitting here thinking, I don't know if it's kind of the, hidden gorilla in the room or not, but last Saturday we had kind of a few issues, some problems. So we just want to, I guess, apologize for the off night being thrown off. There was obviously some tension, some pain. And just want to let you know everything is okay. The problem has been taken care of. And, we want to reiterate, this is a family and we're going to treat everybody like family and want everybody to have a good time and leave here with, good thoughts. So But did
Lady in
want to just
Black,
let you know.
you're right on time. You are not late.
Absolutely. Right on time. Glad to have you. Appreciate it.
Although you did switch us for Runkle Saturday. So, I mean, I don't know. You're good.
Well, the next time she has sworn an oath to do us live, and she'll catch Runkle's replay.
Well, at
Something
least,
like
hey,
that.
Lady in Black, you missed the shit show, so it's all good.
Yeah, it was definitely not our normal. Brentwood.
Brentwood Chic.
Good seeing you. Appreciate you checking in. The gang's all here.
All right, baby, we're going to start with the okay. How is everyone? You guys okay? I have gotten over the Saturday night. I have found the perpetrator. I've got his name, address, everything. So we are good. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I think you handled the situation really well. No apologies necessary. Sorry that it happened in the first place. Not your fault for that, though. Well, it put a little shadow on the night. Not going to lie. You know, it did cause a little pain. I think for Ellen, I think she would admit that. And
I think for you
the
too.
whole thing was, it was just wholly unnecessary. Just absolutely, completely, wholly unnecessary.
Agreed.
So,
but it's handled, dealt with, done. We did the best we could to handle that graciously.
Yeah. And I will admit, I did not see it. Didn't see the comments. I was focused elsewhere, but I saw a request to handle it, let's say. And that's all I needed to know. So it was handled later on. I went back and saw, got more detail, etc. And the mods, Ellen, we have them because we trust them, and they have a very good and appropriate sense of what is right, wrong, what's appropriate, the kind of environment we want to have, the kind of people we want to have, kind of fellowship that we want to have. And, I want that to be completely clear and unambiguous to anybody and everybody that watches the show. There are just certain things in terms of trying to be intensely rude, profane, disparaging, insulting. It's just not for this channel. I know that there are some channels that tolerate that fairly well, and I'm not interested. We've got a great group of people. We've got great kind of a little family growing here. Love the people that are with us, and we enjoy that vibe. We want to keep that vibe. So
absolutely.
Just no ambiguity about it. Brentwood, are you dealing with storms? We apparently had a pretty hard rain last night, but I woke up, things were a little flooded, but today's been beautiful, clear. We've had decent rain.
Clay has a theory about the storms, that they cannot cross the Cape Fear River. That when they come across America, they will never go over the Cape Fear River.
Well, understand the layout.
Either way,
the city, we're on an island, kind of next to a city, separated by a large river, and it's consistent to see the storms coming from the west, the south, or the west, and hit that river and literally bounce northward. They don't cross the river. Now, if a storm is strong enough, it'll cross, but it's extremely rare. So for us to get rain, the storm has to emanate from the southeast or east in order
That
for
means a
us to get rain.
hurricane. That
Yeah, a
means
lot of
we are
times.
being tortured by a hurricane.
So it's not uncommon for the city just across the river to get 10, 15, 20 inches more rain a year than what we get. We literally sometimes will be crying for rain and seeing it just downpour over the city. So I don't know the phenomenon. I don't know the meteorology of it or hydrology or whatever, but you can just watch it. The storms will come at us and then hit that river and just start going northward.
Your hand looks
It's
so
no
big.
theory. That's an actual
Yeah, okay.
observation.
Your hand looks so big on that camera right there.
It looks bigger in person.
Ha ha ha. No, but hurricanes are a thing. They come at us often, and I'll look at Clay and I'll say, "This one's coming." He's like, "Doesn't cross the river. It's not going to do it." And then coming home from work, I get hail, HAIL, and rain, all the things. I'll send him a picture. He's like, sends me a picture. It's sunny here. I'm like, you know what? That's just not fair.
Yeah,
When
just
I'm like
cross the
3
bridge
miles
and
away.
it quits.
Oh,
Seriously,
it's
I've
like
been in a lot of decent rains. Cross the bridge and it quits.
it's like the landfall bubble.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Fair enough.
Bingo pack. Tornadoes do the same thing. Jump a river. Now, do tornadoes jump a river? I am not certain. I don't know that I've ever seen one jump one, actually.
We're not from
But
tornado country at all.
Yeah, born and bred in the South, and we get them a fair amount with a lot of rivers. But I can't say I've ever seen one jump a river or a video of one jumping a river.
But if you want to send us one, it is
don't.
MoffatOwnedMoney@gmail.com. We'd love to see it.
Oh, I thought you meant send us a tornado. You're talking about send us a video of a tornado crossing the river.
A video of a tornado.
I'm a little lost. It's still early.
Grew up in Tulsa. Gotcha. Okay. Oklahoma, right? Am I wrong?
Living in desert, we love it when it rains. People just don't know how to drive in it.
Where is Tulsa?
Oklahoma.
That's what I thought. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't muck that up.
Yeah, and just so everyone will know, we're not doxing followers here. Bingo Pack actually threw out that info. Grew up in Tulsa. I tell you, have you watched the Stallone series on? It's set in Tulsa. He's a mafia guy setting up operations in Tulsa, and it's actually not a bad show. I never thought of Tulsa in my life, but it's actually not a bad show.
Is this the Stallone show?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
It's not the name of it.
No, I know, but the one that he sent, I was just sorry.
The Stallone show is just about him and his family. Lady in Black. I'm a bit behind. I'm hoping the person doesn't have Ellen's email, Eddie. Ellen had posted it. He does have it.
Oh, he does. He contacted me. It's all good.
Yeah.
That's the way that we were able to find him. It was kind of a good thing.
Tornadoes traveled northwest from Oklahoma City and would jump Arkansas River over Tulsa and drop east of Tulsa. Okay, Well, there we have firsthand testimony. Like I say, I've never seen it, wasn't aware of it, but that sounds pretty definitive to me. KP.
Hey, KP.
Love movie camera, love at Ellen.
That's okay. We have. I gotta tell this. So, for the longest time, because I'm old, and I can't see all the little emojis that well. I thought that the hug emoji was a movie camera, and I'm like, why do people keep sending me this? I don't understand what it means. movie what? Movie, should I watch one? Is my life one? I'm trying to figure it all out. I even asked actually Secret McSquirrel. She was like, I don't freaking know. Like, it looks ridiculous to me. I get it now. I totally get it. And thank you.
How did you get it, Ellen?
Because Sandra Ramirez told me.
Oh, I thought I was the one to tell you.
No, Sandra actually embarrassed
Told you
both
first?
Secrets McSquirrel and I about it because we were like, what the hell does this mean?
Huh.
She was like, it is a hug. I was like, it looks like a weird Mickey Mouse or a movie camera. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, once you see it as a hug, it's like, oh, okay, I see it. And
now I get it.
you know,
Yeah.
you recognize it then, but at first it looked an awful lot like like one of the old movie reel cameras.
Mhm.
Between Two Towns, I've been told that. I think you're referring to the lack of driving skills in certain areas. And here, I mean, I think everybody complains about drivers wherever they are. But here you've got a lot of students who are driving while they're talking to others or on their phone.
Hey,
Not
Nurse
all that
M.
terribly experienced. So drivers here suck. Absolutely suck.
No, we have actually the highest accident rate per capita, I think, of anywhere in the United States.
It's one of the highest, if not the.
Yeah,
It's
we
high.
used to be the highest. We could have changed, but still, like, and everybody in this town, when it starts to rain, goes about 20 miles under the speed limit. It always just, I'm like, you can still drive.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when somebody gets in the left-hand lane and just paces the car in the right-hand lane, won't let anybody by.
Don't get me started on that one.
And I mean, I'm a little bit more. You've got defensive drivers, and then you've got me kind of drivers. I won't say offensive, but I drive because I've got some place to get to.
Actually, you are pretty you're pretty deep, well, compared to me. You're defensive. But that's not saying much about me, I guess.
Yeah, I don't do hard starts or hard stops. But I do want to I don't want to keep starting and stopping. That annoys the hell out of me.
I just change lanes really quickly, and Clay's like grabbing the oh shit handle like she's gonna kill me.
She is an experience to ride with, and I'm not used to riding anyway. I'm driving 99.9% of the time in my life. And so when I ride with somebody, it's just weird. It's just weird being in the passenger seat. It's a wholly different experience. Don't like it. Not a fan. Hate it. KP, it's a hug emoji, but it really does look like a movie camera. I thought that too for the longest time. Our soulmate there. I'm usually on my phone, and the emojis are small. I can name that tune in one note.
All right, let's get started with the questions that were asked. First, from our subs.
Will do. Just want to give a shout out to Nurse M.
Thank you.
Hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you, Miss Nurse M. Love having you. Now, as Ellen was referring to, the questions. We are going to start out with questions that a couple of people posted to the comments on
hang on.
YouTube page.
Real quick. Nurse M, you live in New York City, and yeah, your son just got his license. Bless him. God will protect him. Yeah, that's tough.
Just getting your license in New York City is extremely rare. I've known tons of people from there.
Yeah, my sister lives there.
Never drive, don't have their license, have no interest in it. Having a car is expensive, can't find a place to park, driving in what is a glorified parking lot at times anyway. So hats off to him.
Yeah.
good luck with that.
And prayers to him.
And
And
prayers
you.
to him. Yeah, I remember when my daughter started driving. I mean, as a parent, you're always anxious when your child starts driving. It's just normal.
Oh, not me.
But mine, bless her heart, she even admitted, and you don't hear this often, she admitted she wasn't a good driver. She's the only person I've known to break 2 axles. Not 1 axle, but 2 axles. So I'll spare you all the details on that. She's totaled a car, which actually was a kind of a miracle. She was actually driving down this country road, and it had a shoulder, and the shoulder is where the asphalt ends and the dirt begins. Well, this shoulder was about a 6-inch drop. And there was only, and I kid you not, there was only probably 10 inches of dirt before it started dropping off fairly steeply down into a river, a creek. Most people would call it a creek. But it was a bridge area, and it was about 75 foot at steepest point. Pretty severe thing. Speed limit's 55. So here she is tooling down in her car, probably doing 60, 65. And she starts messing with her iPod to change the music.
She gets that from her. Whoa. She gets that from her dad.
Well, I'm still watching the road. And car drops off this shoulder, and she cuts the wheel real hard, which is exactly the wrong thing to do. So literally, when I drove up, I walked it with the state trooper. You've got this bridge, and the river's flowing right through the middle of it. And you can see her tracks as she's cut the wheel and slammed on the brakes. The tracks literally lead to the edge of that road, that bridge. There was no guard there. You had that little shoulder and a big culvert pipe down below with about a 75-foot drop. The skid marks go right to the edge of the middle of that culvert. Her car was buried in the side of the mountain about 75 feet down, 100 feet down, 100 feet away. We just sat there and looked at each other and just shook our heads like, how do you write this one up? I don't know if you believe in angels. That's my proof. But she, her car was in a U. The front end was completely bent up, and airbags and everything obviously deployed. She was walking around fine. And so, I have a lot of thankfulness, and I truly understand parents' trepidation. But I believe in guardian angels, so
they do exist.
Yeah, Brentwood, 2 axles, that's a special skill. I'm telling you, my daughter has gifts. Love her, but she has unique driving gifts. Yeah, and I worked in an ER. My undergraduate was in biochemistry, pre-med, and was going to med school. Went to med school a year, but worked in ER, worked in surgery, and saw a lot of stuff walking in the ER. And so was just extremely thankful. KP, definitely sounds like divine intervention. I have no physical explanation. My undergraduate's in biochemistry. I've got a minor in physics and philosophy. I have no literally physical law explanation. Not based on the speed, the weight of the vehicle, the skid marks. I can't tell you exactly what happened, but I know what I believe, and I'm thankful.
And we will tell you that we are definitely um, believers, probably on a different level than a lot of people, but we definitely believe in God and His miracles.
Yeah, we just, I've got a lot to be thankful for, and I just think I'd be amiss if I didn't give thanks for it. I've got food in my belly, a roof over my head, family that loves me. What more can a reasonable man ask for? So it is a simple appreciation. I have many vices, but ingratitude is not one of them.
And yes, Brentwood Sheik, God is good. Definitely. There you go.
All right. To the questions. The first one is
I
from
think actually Quad E was the first.
Quad E was the first. Okay, we'll do
Mhm.
Quad E's first. Any thought on people receiving Social Security in the future, or will it run out of money? Do I have thoughts on Social Security? The short answer to that is yes. I have thoughts on Social Security.
Oh, lots of thoughts.
I always give my classes hell. I tell them not long before I collect my Social Security. So, in case they think I don't care about them, I tell them I have a vested interest in them and their future success. I want them to succeed. I want them to succeed wildly. I want them to get out, get good jobs, and make tons of money because I want them paying outrageous taxes because I want my Social Security. I've
I
paid
will
into
never
it for
see. I will never see mine.
I've paid
There's no
into it for all
doubt.
these years.
So
And I
did we
want mine.
all.
I tell them they're probably screwed. They're not going to get much of anything. But I want mine. And so I do care how they do in future life.
Well, Clay, I'm so happy that I could pay into your Social Security because we know I will
You're
never
not
see
done
that
yet.
money. Oof.
The goal is for you to continue to pay into my Social Security. All of y'all, I want mine.
You know what?
Social Security.
His students actually will send him texts going, "Hey, I'm making a lot of money. I'm paying your Social Security. I'm paying lots of taxes." And
Yeah,
Clay's
I'm
like,
paying
"Heck
stupid
yeah,
taxes. I'm paying
yeah."
outrageous taxes. I actually get comments like that when they come in town. They'll come in and show me their pay stub or something sometimes and saying, "Is this enough?" And I'm like, "Hell no.
Make more.
Make more. Do more." Social Security is a fascinating thing. Nobody is indifferent towards Social Security. And I recognize it as a practical reality of this world in existence. But there are also some other practical realities surrounding Social Security. First of all, when Social Security was started, there were 225 people paying in for each recipient. By 1940, this had dropped to around 155, 160. And in the intervening decades, that number has continued to drop. KB, I keep hearing about how Gen X won't see Social Security, and that's hard to accept given what I've already
I'm
paid
Gen
into it.
X. I am Gen X. I get it.
Well, I kid about them not getting theirs, but we'll talk about that a little bit. I think it's more likely the form changes greatly. So, but
Okay,
let me continue on with this thought.
Hang on. Can I interrupt you just for a sec?
Yeah. Talk a little
Would it
closer to your
happen-
mic. I have a hard time hearing you.
Oh, shit. Let me change some things. Volume's up. Let me turn my gain up. Or make it like that. That. Is that better?
Much.
Okay. So there's a thought that if Gen X had taken the money they got from Social Security and invested it, that we would be better off. I mean, I know
Okay.
that you wouldn't get your money, but that we would be better off.
Yeah, so don't even consider that possibility.
God.
We'll actually talk about that in a second. But first,
I want mine
know,
too, Brentwood Chic and KP. I want mine too.
I think I've started a new chant.
Mm-hmm.
But first, let's understand the basics about Social Security. Make sure everybody is clear on that. Currently,
you better
there's
chop
just a
on
little
that one.
over 2 people paying in for each recipient. So remember, it started out at 200. Now that number has dropped to 2. 2 people working for each recipient. So if you get $3,000 a month, each of those 2 has to chip in $1,500 a month just in Social Security taxes, plus whatever administrative expenses are required there. And that 2-to-1 ratio, as the country continues aging, is going to continue dropping. Now, how fast will it drop? How quickly will it drop? It all depends on what set of assumptions you use in terms of how long people live, how many new workers come into the country, how many babies we have. You know, this is not a sexist argument, but the decline in the birth rate, women not having the same number of babies or having them later, is really bad for the economy. Because if you think about it, like, most of you probably tried to buy your grandparents something for Christmas. What do you buy your grandparents? I would buy mine a crappy pair of socks or a old bottle of wine.
Really?
He had everything. He didn't want anything.
I would give them a picture of my family framed, or all their great grandchildren or whatever.
But the idea is they don't need clothes. They don't need baby cribs. They don't need, new furniture or whatever. They don't want any of the stuff. Now, who are the people that buy all of the stuff?
Your generation, the boomers.
No, who are the people that buy all the stuff?
Okay, I have no idea. It's not
young
Gen
newlyweds
X.
with kids.
Okay.
They need everything. So the real consumers of products and goods in this country are young couples. They're the ones that buy all the new houses, appliances, clothes, cars, furniture.
So which generation are we talking about?
Any generation, any year. This is just history.
No, I'm just talking about
throughout history.
Okay.
People with young kids are the main consumers. So as we have fewer of those young kids and fewer kids, the demand for goods and services drops. So that's an economic issue. I'm not saying, all the ladies need to go out and get pregnant and have 10 kids, even though that would help the economy in the long run. But it's just a practical reality. So
I had 2, so I'm good. I replaced myself. Oh, Sandra, thank you, honey.
If you're enjoying this stream, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We'd love it if you would.
Honey, do not be sorry. You practically saved us Saturday, so thank you for being here.
We do greatly appreciate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, cheerful. Yes, young couples need the stuff to set up house. Boomers have already gotten there. Exactly. So
yeah, but they're the ones inheriting the most money. Boomers.
Well, it's relative to
their
the price of goods.
Inflation now kind of stinks.
Yeah,
but
it's relative, but in terms of buying stuff, it's always been the young people who are setting up a new home. People with a home that have had a home for 40 and 60 years, they're interested in getting rid of stuff rather than adding more stuff.
But if the boomers have the most inherited wealth, why wouldn't they help their kids and not just take from our Social Security? I'm just curious.
Easy now.
Okay, I'll calm down. Go ahead.
So as the society, as the population continues to age and fewer young people enter into the workforce, that 2-to-1 ratio is going to continue to drop. It's just math. It's just going to happen unless the birth rate turns around suddenly, which I seriously doubt is going to happen. So given that, what happens to those who are about to retire or who are 10, 15, 20 years out of retiring? We just got a report from the, yes, ma'am.
No, I'm just.
Oh, I thought you were saying I got a question.
47 this year. So yeah, I will never be able to retire ever.
Yeah, we
just saying. Oh, are you speechless?
No, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. My bad.
That's all right. Oh. So population decreases. You've got fewer people paying in the system. Okay, what happens to people that are about to retire? People that are about to retire. Well, we just had a audit or analysis done by the Social Security Committee that said the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of money in 32 or 33. Normally, they're optimistic. So we could be looking at it running out of money in 31. Most of their previous projections and estimates have been far too optimistic. But anyway, the Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out of money. It's going to get to zero. We've been paying out more in benefits than we've been receiving in payments since the 80s. Okay, so that trend is there. What happens if there are no changes, zero changes to the Social Security system? Well, if there are zero changes and the trust fund goes to zero, then the current payments from Social Security are enough to pay about 75% of the current benefit. Yes, ma'am.
So the issue that I'm seeing or hearing, along with your analysis, with the past few years and no one working and the labor force being so short-staffed, that is going to impact it as well, correct?
Yeah, it all factors in.
Okay.
Yeah, the fewer people working, the more people working part-time. There's even a trend toward people leaving the workforce. I've known a couple who decided to stay home, take care of the kids. My own daughter and her husband made that decision. With her earnings, it was just better for her to, instead of putting the kids in daycare and eating out all the time, it was just more efficient for them to have her at home. And there was a preference that she raise the kids, take care of them day to day. So
I think that is there are so many women caught up in this third generation feminist. I mean, what woman, I might offend some people here, but wouldn't want to take care of her kids? I mean
some of them, I've got some friends, former students, whatever, that have said they didn't want kids. It was kind of funny. Casey.
Well, yeah, but that's fine. But I missed my son's first steps because he was in daycare, because I had to work. I mean,
True.
Who would voluntarily give up those moments just to make some money?
Some people don't have a choice.
I know. I didn't. I get that.
Yeah. Some people don't have a choice. So, you got to do the best you can do. That's all you can do at the time. But as fewer people work, that's fewer people paying in the system. So that's going to, cause the trust fund to go to zero. So current payments are enough to cover about 75% of the benefit. So if the trust fund goes to zero, there are no changes to the system. If you're receiving $3,000, your benefit will drop to about 2,300. That's one possible outcome. Now, what is, I think, more likely is there have been times in the past where the Congress, the president, have made changes to the Social Security Administration. A couple of possible changes would be increasing the tax rate. Right now, every worker pays about 6.2% of their income, and the employer matches that 6.2%. So about 12.4% of a worker's salary is going into Social Security. One thing that could happen is they increase that rate from 12.4 to say 14%. Another thing they could change is that Social Security has a maximum benefit, and that maximum benefit has been used to calculate kind of a salary cap. So if you were, earning and paying into the system 100%, what's the max you would earn to receive the maximum benefit kind of thing? And so that has always kind of been the limit of taxable income for Social Security purposes. Right now, that limit is about $160,000 and change. So another alternative, and I think it's likely, is that they will increase that salary or remove the cap altogether. A year ago, 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly, Bernie Sanders and some offered a bill to remove the cap to tax income up to, I think it was 250,000, and this was back when it was 120. So it'd be $300,000-$400,000 now.
That was the cap on capital gains as a couple, correct?
No, it's just Social Security. If you make $160,000,
I was just thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not related.
I know it's not, but I'm random. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can't say I'm used to it because sometimes it is so random, but little bit used to it. But Bernie argued that his suggested changes would make the program stable for 75 years. Now, anytime you hear a politician promise that things are going to be good for 75 years, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Bullshit. I don't know about you, but I know the first thing that comes to my mind. But if those changes were made, removing the salary cap, taxing all income for Social Security, they could also increase the age. Right now, the earliest you can retire, with 66, somewhere around 66 to 67 being the full retirement age. And if you wait till 70, you get a 30% bump in payments. So you can retire any of those three stages. You get a reduced benefit at 62 and a half. You get full benefit at, say, 67. And you get 30% more if you wait till 70 to start collecting. So what they could do is take all of those ages and raise them all. Yes, ma'am.
I had a really good question, but I can't interrupt you and then I forget what it was. But it was so good.
So you interrupted me to tell me you don't remember.
Yes, and it was important. So slow it down. And we have like 1,000 more questions. So please, 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 we got to move on.
Do what?
We have like 1,000 more questions to answer. So please move on.
Well, let me answer this one first.
Well, it's
We
been
do
20
this all the
minutes.
time, y'all. This is just Ellen and I.
It's just banter.
Yeah. We my dad would always take time and teach me things and explain to me, not just give me the quick and dirty how, but he would explain to me why things were done that way. And so, I guess that's why I explain things, not just saying, okay, here's how to do it, done, but explaining why so that it makes sense so that you can adapt the technique however you need to fit the situation.
Can I interject here?
No.
Yeah, he just tells me what to do and not why. And then I ask questions and he's like, dude, just do what I said. Not bullshit. Truth. All truth. So I'm glad y'all get the explanation. Yeah, I just get to do it because I said so.
So bottom line is, for you Gen Zers, Social Security in some shape, manner, form will be there.
Wait, Gen X. It's
Gen
not going
X.
to be there for us either because you are the greatest population, the biggest population.
The
And
sweetest
so
population,
all of
the
you
best
guys,
looking population.
Freaking A. When y'all retire, you're going to take it all of our Social Security. It's just going to be, I'm sorry, it's Clay's fault.
My goal is to drain it.
Yes, I know it is.
I want it all. But seriously, something will be there. Exactly what shape, manner, or form it is, I can't say.
We'll get $1 a month.
You'll get
y'all
something.
Can live on that.
And you may have to wait longer to get it. Those are very likely outcomes because the math just doesn't work otherwise.
I did have a sorry, may I?
Go ahead.
I had a teacher. I went to high school in Raleigh, and I had a professor named Mr. Baliga. And he would get up on top of a desk and stand there on top of all of us and go, "You have no Social Security, so you better save some money." He was an economics teacher. And I was like, okay. But now I actually get it. Like Gen X, we got nothing. We might get it 50 cents a dollar, but that's about it.
Yeah. Earlier you asked, about if you took the money and saved it, would you be better off? Something along those lines.
Put it in a money market account. Do something.
Well, I ran the math a few years ago. If I had taken my Social Security, and I'm pretty much maxed out most of the years that I've been working, if I took that money plus the employer's contribution and invested it just in an average stock mutual fund,
that's what I meant. Sorry.
By the time I got to 65, I would have about $32 million.
But that's
so
not how it worked
instead of receiving $3,000 or $36,000 a month, a year in Social Security, I could easily be receiving $1.5 million a year just in interest off of my savings. Plus, when I die, I would still have the $32 million. With Social Security, when I die, doesn't matter when I die, it's gone. That's it. I think I have a death benefit in Social Security of $250.
Yeah. Yeah. The government, when you die, they give you a lovely $250 to make your pain go away. Yeah. which is awful. But KP feels a little like stealing to me. Yes, it kind of is. And show the next one. We should be
What's
better to
stealing?
invest, huh?
What's
The
stealing?
government taking money from
Oh.
us, and when we could save it on our own and do better. It's kind of like stealing.
Yeah, I thought she was talking about me getting my full benefit while y'all don't get anything. And I was like, tough. I paid into it. It's mine. It's all mine.
We all do. We all do. Answer this question.
If that's the case, shouldn't we be permitted to invest the money elsewhere? Beginning now seems fair. I have argued for that. Not just a cut in the Social Security taxes, but the requirement that that money you either paid into Social Security or you invest it privately and then pay the difference in Social Security out of general revenues. It's going to be expensive. It's going to suck.
No, but if
But
they
the
would just
practical
let you, if they would just let you do it yourself and not the government controlled, would that not be a better solution?
I'm talking about it would cut revenues into the Social Security fund.
Oh, so you're saying you would not get your Social Security money?
Well, the government would have to step in and pay it.
I hear you.
Because y'all got to keep in mind, you know, those 70, 80-year-olds fought in Vietnam. No.
Hey,
Iraq
hey, Clay,
won.
Clay.
We are
We fought in
grumpy old bastards.
Afghanistan. We fought in Afghanistan. We fought in
I'm
Iraq.
just talking about the people that are retired and on Social Security now. They're
They
grumpy
should
old
get
bastards, and they know how to shoot. So if
their
somebody
money.
tries cutting off their money completely, there's going to be issues.
So what? We fuck over you, we fuck over us, and we've already been paying into it. So what's the deal? Okay, next question. That was a good one. Hang on. They won't save it, but you know what? Stupid should hurt. That's Clay's rule number 2.
Well, yeah, and also my idea would be that the employer would take the 12.4% and invest it in something like an expanded IRA.
They won't.
It would, the administrative cost there would be very little. If any, the trouble for the employers would be very little or any. So the employee still doesn't get that money to spend on whatever they want. It's either going into a retirement plan or Social Security. That would have a couple of different effects. One, it would increase the availability of capital and investment in this country, which would help the economy grow. It would help spur innovation, fund innovation, new development, new ideas, that kind of thing. So there'd be some good economic benefits from increased savings. In addition, I think people would just feel better about their future if they had $1 million, $2 million, $5 million in the bank.
You think?
Rather than hoping that Social Security doesn't run out of money.
Mahoney is running around in the hallway and the dogs are going nuts.
That's all right. KP, I have a pension and deferred compensation plan, but this is no small amount that we're talking about. This is my only issue. Yeah, these are important issues, important questions. And my biggest problem is that there's not a public discussion of them. The politicians don't want to touch it. They don't want to address it. The longer they wait to address it, the worse the problem becomes, the more painful the answer becomes. And it's something that we need to be talking about and let people know the honest truth as to the future they're facing, what it cost them, what it's going to cost them, and what benefits, pros and cons.
What it's going to cost you. I mean, just, or what it's going to not, or how it's not going to benefit you, I guess I should say.
People need to be aware of the reality, whether they like hearing it or not. Sandra, when I worked at the 9/11 Center, we didn't pay into Social Security. We had a deferred comp and city retirement fund. There's a fair amount of occupations that don't have to pay into Social Security, like clergy. Anybody that works for a church doesn't have to.
Oof.
So
That's good to know.
there's a fair amount of people out there that are not covered by Social Security that don't even have that to fall back on. Hopefully, they have been somewhat prudent and have other plans going, but a lot of people, Social Security was meant to be a complement to retirement, not your retirement. And that's where public understanding has really just gotten warped. A lot of people think that is their retirement plan, and it never should have been counted on as the retirement plan.
Well, they also thought, I guess the government thought that by that age, when they started all this, that you would already own your own home. You would already have some savings built up, and this wouldn't be a problem. But they didn't count on, I guess, consumerism. Is that a word?
Well, Social Security was started in the throes of the Great Depression, when you had so many people that lost everything, had nothing to count on, no retirement, whatever to fall back on. So that's when it was started. And the idea was to give people some sort of minimum income that would, help them in their later years.
But the funny thing is, when I was an insurance agent, with Medicare, Health, Life, I mean, a lot of people couldn't even afford their medications. And a lot of them, the ones that really help them, are taken off the list that their insurance company will pay for. And when someone can't afford their insulin because it costs this ridiculous amount, they're getting $1,000 a month in Social Security, and their insulin is like $500. It's the only one they can take because they're allergic to everything else. It's just a mess.
Yeah, it is. The two most complicated systems we've got are the financial/banking system and the medical system, in terms of paperwork, bureaucracy, overhead, soaring cost, lack of transparency. And guess what? Two sectors of the economy are the most regulated. We have.
Don't say pharmacies. Prescriptions.
Yeah, look at Obamacare. What has happened to the cost of health insurance and deductibles and the confusion and regulatory overhead since Obamacare was passed? None of it has gotten better. All of it has gotten worse. All of those factors have gotten far worse.
And it's way more expensive.
I'm one of those. And, I've talked about regulations before on the show. I just have not seen in history where excessive regulations benefit the consumer, benefit the people. 1, 2, 3, 4, cheerful. Kind of like the rhythm of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, cheerful.
I know, right? It's cool. It's like
not to bang on about Social Security, but I have read it was also to get old people out of the workforce so younger people could get jobs in the Depression. That's a point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even in the subprime crisis years ago, we came up with a name for college graduates graduating during that period. We called them anybody remember their nickname? We called them the boomerang generation, because they left home to go to college. And then when they graduate college, they had to move back home because there were no jobs. People, lost their retirement, lost their savings. They couldn't retire. So that 65-year-old didn't retire. He needed the income. So the person under him didn't get promoted. The person under him didn't get promoted, and so on down to where there were no job openings. So that's a good point. You need older people to retire to create more paths upward for those younger. Sands are tired. It's gotten much better for me. Always
That's
good to
great.
hear that. Would
That's always
love if
good.
everybody literally on the show could be saying that. Particularly in this day and age, because there's a lot of people out there hurting that have had some severe challenges and difficulties. So Social Security, for me, it's going to end up being a negative return. A negative return means I will have paid more into the system than I draw out of it.
Won't we all?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Highly likely.
So it's just not for you, it's for all of us.
Yeah, everybody
Got
that's,
it.
starting to receive it now and in the future. You will
And
pay
who
more into
won't
the system than likely what you receive.
and who won't receive anything they paid in the system?
It's possible that part of the changes they make to keep it solvent in the future is start having cutoffs for income. So if you make some minimal income, they already tax Social Security benefits. If you make over, I forget what the number is. If you make over 65, 75, some number a year, then your Social Security benefits are taxable up to 50% of it. So you can still receive Social Security.
Whoa. Wait.
And
back that up.
be taxed on it.
Okay. So
We love
you
your YouTube
received-
name.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, cheerful. Because it's like a Care Bear. I think of the one that has the rainbow, the blue one. Anyway. Okay, so we pay money in. I get that everything that is not taxed when you pay it in, you have to tax when you pay it out. Correct?
Yes.
But Social Security, I mean, they're making money on the money that you pay them. They don't just let it sit in an account. They invest it in something. Oh, I got it. They invested in FTX.
Probably would have been better off if they had. The trust fund is a misnomer. There's actually no trust. The money has already been spent.
It's
which
just
ought
a
to bring you
backup
some
for
comfort. The federal government started spending Social Security funds decades ago, but they put in IOUs, and these count as the asset of the trust fund. So basically, the trust fund consists of a bunch of IOUs from the federal government.
Why did my light just go nuts there?
Because you're a star.
Okay, now it's not doing anything. That's way too bright.
Ellen will start her burlesque act here before long.
Easy there. Calm down.
You got the flashing lights and moving in and out.
I don't know what's going on with that. It just switched. I have no idea why. It's a God thing. I have no idea. No, God, I had a thought, Clay. It was a good one again.
Brentwood Chic. So they pledged to the trust. Yes, they pledged to the trust. They promised to pay the trust.
No, she is talking, I think, about an Amber Heard pledged versus donated.
Oh, I did not catch that. I was not really up to date or a consistent follower of the Amber Heard deal. So I'll have to rely on Ellen's expertise for that.
Yeah. Yep. Pledge versus donate. I pledged it, which means I donated it, but I didn't. But it's the same thing. Right?
Is there anybody else out there that is as Amber B. Heard illiterate as I am?
Probably not.
Probably not. So y'all be gentle with me.
He just blessed them.
So Social Security.
All right. Okay, I think we're
negative returns. You'd be better off if you invested your own money. There probably will be something in the future. There will be something in the future as far as Social Security. What exactly and how much and when you'll get it, I can't specifically say. Yeah, but just just don't plan on getting a whole lot. We had a second question. Since we're moving right along.
Because we've been doing this for at least an hour. We got one question done. Next.
Yeah, but Social Security is kind of a big deal.
Oh, Social Security is a shit show. Anyway.
Got a question from Airsick. Takes me a second to work on some of these names.
Airsick or Airsick. I don't know.
It's Airsick.
I can't see it from here, so I don't know.
Airsick. Say it real fast.
Airsick.
She does say, I'm a flight attendant and estate planning attorney. Interesting career there. And I'm bummed as I'll be somewhere between Atlanta and Dallas-Fort Worth. I'll catch the replay. Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. You have great insight. Ellen really does. We're really glad to have her.
I just ask you good questions. That's my job.
She does. She has a lot of great gifts. I'm not going to lie. My question to you is simple. Life insurance for the people with no kids or no financial responsibilities. I, for the life of me, can't seem to get people to understand this is a money mistake. Help me out.
Oh, well, no, I can't actually do that. Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, I'll give you my thoughts. Insurance is for risk management. It's not an investment. It oftentimes ends up being a generally very poor investment compared to other reasonable alternatives. So do you need insurance if you're young, unmarried, have no risk, debt, liabilities, family? I would say no. Now, I'll quantify that a little bit by saying there are some people who think, I will get married shortly and I want to go ahead and protect my insurability, make sure I've got the insurance I need for my family for the next 20 years. So there may be some people who err on the side of caution. It's not really a financial burden to them, who will go ahead and implement an insurance policy to make sure that they've got coverage for future responsibilities. I can't argue with that. I don't think every decision with money or finances is necessarily simply a performance issue. Some of it is just peace of mind. You're willing to take a lower return on some things because it gives you peace of mind. And I can't argue with that.
And also
economically, as far as financial performance, buying life insurance normally is not the best deal. If the insurance company was losing money on life insurance, they'd be out of business. They make money, and they make good money. They pay outrageous commissions, who I hope all those guys pay outrageous taxes because the odds are always in their favor. What was the show with Jennifer Lawrence? Maki.
The one we watched last night?
No, the one with all the may the odds be always in your favor.
Oh, the chat.
I can see the cover of it. I can't think of the name of it, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
They were the books, the things. It's Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Thank you. Yeah, with insurance, the odds are almost always in the insurance company's favor.
However, if it's cheaper to buy a life insurance policy than to pay $20,000 for $20,000, can I speak, for a funeral, you do have to live 2 years. That's very helpful because else you won't get all of the benefits of the policy. Clay and I had a friend who actually bought life insurance policies for her grandchildren to pay for their college. As an insurance agent, I'm not exactly sure how all that works out, or as a previous insurance agent, because they're all a bunch of frauds. I don't know how long that works out, but it was a thing that she did. to pay for their college.
Yeah, a lot of people
yeah.
use insurance, and I've seen little clips on the internet about how, if you want to be a millionaire, you use insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Well, most of that's pretty much bunk. And it's hard to find a situation where I can't come up with a better financial alternative. The flip side is the returns on insurance products are abnormally low, but they are quote unquote guaranteed.
However, if you are not going to die in the next 2 years and your whole life insurance policy has a cash benefit, it's accrued cash, you're never going to get more from your insurance policy than what the face value is. So let's say you have $7,000 in a $20,000 life insurance policy. That you can actually get that money back and get a new life insurance policy, probably for the same, if not less, than you had in the first place. It's just whole life insurance. They take your money, they invest it, they save it, but it's always yours. You can just renew your policy and get your money back. Whatever you've invested.
Yeah, the idea really is whatever you have, whether it's cash in an insurance policy, whether it's cash in a money market or savings account, cash in a checking account, cash in stocks, you want to be aware of it, and you want to ask yourself, is this the best place for my money here today, right now? That's a question you've got to ask yourself continuously and regularly. And if you see better opportunity, you'll want to take advantage of it. KP, guaranteed is the principal only, though in some cases. Yeah. If you take $10,000 and put it in stock market versus $10,000 in a annuity.
Yeah.
And I've talked about the little old redheaded lady on previous videos, so I won't repeat that story. I probably will end up repeating it sometime, but
not, hang on, I got a disclosure. Not all annuities are the same as your redheaded lady story. I mean, I love your story, but probably the market now would be the same, but in a good
they're
market,
fundamentally all the same. If somebody is guaranteeing you your principal, that comes at a huge cost. But this lady did, and basically she gave up 30 years in the best stock market we've had. So instead of earning roughly 15% a year, she earned 1.25% per year for 30 years. When she was ready to retire, she had a total of $14,612 available to her to retire on, to live on the rest of her life. If she had invested that same $10,000 in the stock market, done an average of 12% for those years, which a blind pig in a poke could have done that, she would have had, if I remember correctly, it's 1.2 million.
Hang on. Wait. And Clay, because this is what you always say, Clay was the bastard that had to tell her that she could not get her hair done anymore and not care for her dog or pay her rent.
Yeah, she had two great loves in this world. One was having her hair done. She came into the office with it was really kind of almost a pink. I call her little old redheaded lady because I won't use her name. But a dear, sweet little soul, petite little thing. And she loved having her hair done. I mean, I don't know if any of y'all have had any perms in your life, but I ain't going to lie, that shit stinks. So she was fogging up the whole room. But you just came to love it because she was such a delightful presence and soul.
Okay, wait. Have to defend hairstyling right now. The reason it stinks is because the chemicals break down the sulfur bonds in the hair. There, ergo, if it's not done correctly, you still get the sulfur smell. So, go ahead.
Yeah, and this was, this was in the mid 80s. Technology, chemicals could have changed, whatever. But that crap would fog up the whole room. Anyway, so instead of, and that's in a bad mutual fund. If she'd have had a average mutual fund that did 15% during this period, she would have had, what was it, 2.6 million?
Mm-hmm.
So she had 14,000. She could have had 1.2 million or more if she'd invested in the market. So anytime somebody is guaranteeing you your principal, in the back of your mind, you need to understand that has a cost. That has a cost. And is it a risk you can afford to take? In her case, it actually was not a risk she could afford to take.
You said she could have bought like 4 small Cape Cod houses, right?
Well, it was a death benefit. Her husband was killed in the Korean War. So the DOD gave her a $10,000 death benefit. And people go, $10,000, that's not much. Well, in 55 or
it was
50s, whenever it was, that would buy 3 houses, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath houses. So it was a fairly decent amount at the time. Now, when she retired 30 years later, 14,000, well, it would probably make a down payment on one of those houses. Maybe not even make the down payment. Now, 1.2 million or more, yeah, she could have bought 3 houses. So you need to understand you've always got purchasing power risk in addition to other risk, but always purchasing power risk. So you want to always be aware of taking care of your future risk, the risk that you can't afford to live because you don't have enough money put aside.
Okay, I'm just gonna put this out there. My my light has got a life of its own tonight. It just keeps changing whatever it wants to do. I'm not real sure why, and I apologize that I keep doing this, but it doesn't like me right now. We actually have some really funny Reddit. Yeah. Thanks, Clay.
You good?
Oh yeah, just if it changes, I'm going to change it back. So I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. Maybe because I'm an angel. That must be it.
Something like that. All right. These questions are just kind of random questions that have been chosen from Reddit. Okay. I'm not trying to violate anybody's copyright or whatever, but I think these are pretty much in the public domain being on the internet. So, got a few weird little situations. Some of them may be relevant in some shape, manner, or form to issues you might come across. So we'll discuss them a little bit. Taking over mother's finances. She's aging. Health has degraded. She's only 62. Lifetime financial failure, trying to pick up the pieces. Never been due to income, been due to drinking and gambling addiction. No clue how much debt she has, personal loans, evictions, etc. Here's my plan. I want to know pitfalls and ensure I have no liability for her.
Wait. What? Honestly, have no clue how much debt she has out, personal loans, evictions, so on. With that info, here is my plan. I want advice on pitfalls and ensuring I have no liability for her. I set up a separate checking account she cannot access. Thank God. Her Social Security and pension will go to it. The total amount is $4,500. How many of us wish we had $4,500 in spendable cash every month? Anyway, from this account, I will pay her rent, mandatory bills, so on. Each week, I will transfer $200 to $300 a week for expenses, groceries, so on. This will go to a separate checking account she will have access to, but I will be able to see the transactions. What is left over will go to, I'm sorry, I'm reading the things as well as that chats. Y'all are killing me. Okay, you'll go to a savings account I will manage. She has signed a POA, which is power of attorney, and is aware she can no longer manage money between mental health addictions. So that isn't an issue. She has no assets to her name except a car we will be selling due to her being able to see anymore. That's a problem. How can you gamble and not see? I got to think about that one. Okay, anyway. So there, THERE, I think it was misspelled. So there, sorry, not much collections can go after, since my understanding is Social Security and pensions cannot be collected against. Correct me if I am wrong, though, and I can't read the rest because it's covered by.
It just says, I'm looking for advice, figuring out how to raise my young kids while trying to take care of my mom. Sharing I did not do anything that ties my financial life to her. So some interesting comments. First of all, if he hasn't signed any of those loans or assumes, signs any paperwork assuming responsibility, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure he won't have liability for her debts. Now,
I might disagree with that, but go ahead.
How so?
What do I know? I think I have heard that you can go after at least the estate, if not the children, for the debts. And the estate would be at least her. I mean, he has no idea what debt, or he or she has no idea what debt she's in, what she owes, what she doesn't owe, or any of her assets.
Yeah, if she has signed papers, like if she has a house, if she signed papers putting up her house as collateral, they can go after the house. Now, he says he doesn't think they can go after they can't garnish basically Social Security or pensions.
Is that true?
I'm not so sure about that.
Okay.
Particularly retirement pensions. I'm just not sure if those can be garnished or not. I think maybe you can't Social Security because the government doesn't want to fiddle with all that crap. So they just said you can't do it. But I don't know. I honestly can't swear to that.
And you do something for me?
That would be?
Can you get up and turn your overhead light off? It's not nearly as cool, the lights, without the. I won't say anything against you.
We're not nearly as cool.
We're professionals, babe.
What are we, an hour and a half into the show?
We're professionals. This is how it works.
I'll try to remember it next time.
Okay, do I have to run down and do it?
But he sounds like he's got a good.
That's a yes.
I'll
be right back.
Sounds like he's got a good plan in place. Limiting the money she can access, though, if she's blind and can't drive. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think you can gamble online in the country. They got rid of the online poker. I had a friend who actually was really good. He would stay up 2 days, all night. He'll stay up for 2 days playing online poker. Still travels and plays around different casinos, whether it's in New Jersey or Vegas. He just loves it, and he's good at it. Generally makes more than what he spends. So, my advice to him would be, now, he doesn't really say what all the bills are or what is left over from the 4,500. Says he pay your rent, mandatory bills, and so on, and then deposit 200 a week, which is 800 a month for expenses, groceries, so on.
All right. I'm going to give
we-
like terrible advice on this one
Okay.
because I can't let this go. Working on this light thing. Okay. So I had a client whose hair I did, and she would go to casinos or anywhere really, and pick up the losing tickets of whatever, and then use those on her taxes. I don't recommend that to anyone. I'm just saying, especially this light is killing me. Especially if
Yeah, that is tax fraud. Definitely don't recommend that. So here it's hard giving any concrete advice. He's taking the basic steps he needs to, but not really a whole lot of detail or information to give anything specific.
Bring up the other funny one. Well, this
I will
is
just
one too.
take them in order here.
All right.
I'm not sure which one's which, honestly. This one's kind of interesting. I gave my landlord my routing and account numbers for ACH, which is automated clearinghouse. This is the electronic system that you use to pay bills from your checking account. So
yes, Sandra, that
he's
is not
given
financial
his landlord his banking information, his routing and account numbers. And my bank says she can withdraw any amount at any time without oversight. Yes, they can.
Yep.
So ACH is supposed to be secure. It is secure, but not if you're giving everybody the keys to the kingdom. So she can take money out of the account on a whim for basically the rest of our lives. Is terrifying. My suggestion is you shut down that account and open a new one.
Yep.
And then you set up monthly payments to your landlord. You don't give her the information. Most banks' checking accounts have a bill paying system. You just type in her name, address, the amount each month, and it's cut automatically. So
as long as the money's in there to cover it. Yes.
Yeah, as long as the money's in there to cover it. So my suggestion to everyone is that you don't give anybody the keys to the kingdom. I don't care if you trust them or not. Don't give them the keys to the kingdom. That's really not funny. I feel bad, but it's a relatively simple solution in just closing down that account and opening a new one. Transfer the money over.
Yeah, I learned that lesson once, and yeah, it stuck with me.
Yeah, the bank can do that in a heartbeat.
Let's do some funnier. What's the other funny one? About the guy, the felon.
See.
The felon is hilarious.
Nope. Whoops.
Where's she at? Oh, this one's funny too. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. That's funny too. My wife's truck got stolen. I thought no problem. There's comprehensive coverage. Well, she had a lapse in her coverage. And at the time of the stealing, the truck was not under insurance. We're going to be responsible for the cost of the truck. My question is there any way of negotiating how much we could owe to the leasing company? Perhaps if they are, now we're in the way. I can't see. Hang on, y'all.
Paid within a certain time.
Pay within a certain time frame. Well, they reduce total cost. Probably not.
Yeah, they're not going to let you off the hook for your error. Putting it mildly. Rule number 2.
Truck is gone. She gone.
And I like the way they say, I thought no problem. There's comprehensive coverage. Well, she had a lapse in her coverage.
They
Now,
don't
I don't
like
know
that.
about your insurance company, but my insurance company nags the hell out of me when a bill is coming due. It's kind of hard to overlook.
I put mine on automatic payment, but I don't give them my bank account information.
Yeah. And a lot of insurance companies require automatic payment, particularly if you have a history of late payments or missing payments.
Mhm.
So the short answer is you're
Dude,
SOL.
you're fucked.
Yeah. There are, you can go try to negotiate with them to extend the payments or, but they're just not going to waive the total cost because you forgot insurance.
But if you can find the truck, you might have some hope.
Yeah, there's no information on locating the truck or what happened to it or whatever. So, but that's just kind of mildly entertaining. Where was the one
As a
that you
felon,
wanted?
that was, I think it's, no, go over. It's a short one. Nope. Wait, yeah, that was it. Go back.
Ah, this is it. 49K in student loans. Been in default about 4 or 5 years. Is this Fresh Start program worth it? Sounds like an
Y'all.
honest question. And then you read the next two sentences. I have no income, can't find a job as a felon.
Wait, I was going to read this one, right?
Oh, okay.
Y'all, I got no income. I can't find a job as a felon. Apparently, my education and past job history overqualify me for retail, fast food, and warehouse type positions, but corporate America doesn't want to pay me anymore either. So you were in corporate America, but you're just overqualified because you are a very highly educated felon. Boo. Okay. I could probably qualify for the income-based repayment and get $0 monthly payments because that would mean you don't pay anything. I'm not real sure how that works out. I guess. Yeah, I guess too. With the freeze on loans, my credit has actually started recovering a little bit. I don't know what will happen if I just let the loans sit and forget they never existed. Well, honey, the government is not going to forget about you. Don't you worry. They have always got your back. For one, you're a felon. What did your highly educated ass do to go to jail? I'm just curious. And now, overqualified for retail? I think you just, yeah, they do background checks, sweetheart. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just saying. All right, Clay, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple things here. One, can't find a job as a felon. Well, if he was released as a felon, he's probably still on probation.
He's highly educated.
And most of the probation programs have a work requirement, and they generally will place you with somebody that's willing to hire a felon. It's generally a low-skill job, but and with the labor shortage now, there's a lot of places that would hire a felon that came in with some sincerity, and give them a chance. So, there's just things here that sound a little hokey. Corporate America doesn't want you well. Most people want to see some track record before they're willing to completely trust a felon.
He doesn't say doesn't want me anymore. He must have been there at some point.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that, for a good job, if they've got other alternatives, they'll probably go with the other alternatives than a felon. But there are jobs that felons can get. Crazy Cat Queen, I call Bull Pucky bullpucky on not being able to find a job in fast food or retail. Right now, everyone is hiring. Yeah, it's exactly, my thoughts. They don't run much of a background check. And, if you went in honest, open and said, hey, I'm just looking for a chance, there's some people that would give you a shot.
Yeah, if you have
so all of this makes me doubt his whining. Now, a couple things about student loans. One, you cannot include student loans in bankruptcy. They're not bankruptable. So you will always have that debt. And if you don't make payments, the federal government will garnish your wages.
And they will show up on your credit report.
Yeah, surprisingly, the federal government has an idea when you start making money. If you're not paid in cash, which, as reading this, I have no income. Well, he's getting money from somewhere.
I mean, he's got to.
The Fresh Start program worth it? Fresh Start program is the student loan forgiveness up to 20 grand. And I am I'm not a fan of that, but, I've had a couple people ask me, and if the government is going to do it, I can't blame anybody for getting $20,000 in debt wiped off their account magically. So, I can understand somebody wanting to take advantage of it if it gets enacted. I think it's tied up in the courts, or has been tied up in the courts.
Okay, so I'm going to throw that back at you real quick.
Sure.
As Gen X, I have 9,000 in student loans. I have paid way more than that in Social Security that I'm never going to see. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody. Don't blame anybody for taking advantage of the program and, getting their debt reduced. It's like I've said it before. If you be careful what you incentivize people to do, because they will do it. And if somebody's just going to wipe $20,000 off your account with no strings attached, you'll do it.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Now, I am not a fan because I'm one of the guys that would be paying for that.
Social Security that you can
and I want all the money going into the Social Security system.
Back to the original question.
Now, so if you just let the loans sit, forget they ever existed, well, anytime you have a job, they'll be there to start collecting.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have those loans in arrears and just forget they existed. They will always follow you around. Government has a way to do that. Between two towns, good point here. This person can go be a truck driver. All you need is a CDL. If I remember correctly, you can get that's commercial driver's license.
Yeah, as a felon, can you do that?
6 weeks, 12 weeks.
He's a felon, though. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
There are certain jobs that require you to be bonded that he couldn't get. But in terms of short hauling and, goods and services, like Walmart, I saw Walmart hiring truck drivers, short haul truck drivers. That's day trips, $100,000 a year.
Wow.
I
might get my CDL.
You can make a living. So there's options out there. So his excuse sounds a little weak, but you can't just let the loans sit and forget they ever existed. They will stalk you wherever you go.
That is true.
What would you do with an extra $2,500 a month? Hello, everyone. I'm 33, married, 3 kids, position where I have an extra $2,500 putting aside for a 401k and 529s for the kids.
We got to work on your an acronym thing. I'm a 33-year-old male.
Isn't that what I said?
Kids. No, you said I'm a 33-year-old married with 3 kids.
No. Yeah. Tried investing in stocks a few times, but I quickly realized I have no clue in what I'm doing. Anyone have any suggestions? My main suggestion was that somebody like this subscribe to this channel because here shortly, I will literally be doing a video titled Beginning Investing, How Not to Buy Stocks. I think for most individuals who are beginning investing, there's a few videos out there on beginning investing, and they're trying to tell people how to pick stocks. I think that's just insanely stupid.
Wait, I think your first piece of advice would be whatever Kramer says, do the opposite. Because he's wrong every time.
That would require sometimes being able to invest in options or short stocks or do futures. And for a beginning, that's probably not appropriate.
Yeah.
And there is a Kramer ETF that does the opposite of what Kramer says. So that would be an option.
All right, then.
But yeah, I literally am going to put out a video here before long to help people who don't have time to track the market every day. The main problem is buying a stock isn't difficult. Studies show that 85%, 90% of the movement in a stock's price is due to the movement in the market as a whole. So if you have a few stocks, if the market's up, your stock's probably up. The problem is knowing when to sell it. And that's what people have problems with. And that's what generally makes them poor investors. I've been in this for 40 years, looked at literally a few thousand portfolios. And for most individuals, you ask them, how's investing been for them? Well, they'll sit there and go, oh, I just had a stock the other day. Blue Horse, it was up 30%. Since I bought it. Well, how long have you owned it? Oh, I don't know. A few years. How's your whole portfolio done? They have no idea. They just go blank. So I sit there and take their whole portfolio, look at the money they put in and what it's worth today. And most of them historically have averaged around 3.5% to 5.5% per year, while the stock market has been doing 12, 15, 18% on average over this same period. So for individuals trying to buy stocks, I think that's the worst advice you can get, because most people don't have the time or the background to try to analyze different companies and pick one out. Now, there's a video out there by that shows a speech by Peter Lynch, who was the acclaimed Magellan advisor. This guy is great. And in one of his books, he recounts the story of going to the drugstore to pick up some things, and his wife says, I'll be back in a second. And she comes back and she throws down some of these big plastic eggs on the counter. And he picks one up and he's going, what's this? And she goes, oh, that's the greatest thing. It's pantyhose. They're really good pantyhose and they're cheap. Now, you have to understand, one, this was in an era when women did actually wear pantyhose regularly. And two, the only places that sold pantyhose were like department stores, Pizitz, Dillard's, JCPenney, whatever. So you had to go to the mall to buy pantyhose. It was inconvenient. Now they were selling them in a drugstore, readily available. You just pick them up while you're buying gum. And Lynch looked at his wife and she was genuinely happy. And he thought, if they make her this happy, they're going to make a lot of other wives stay. He doesn't do analysis. He doesn't give it to his analyst. He doesn't run all the numbers. He just buys the company and made really good money.
Hey.
Okay.
First of all, women did not ever go to the drugstore to buy gum.
Whatever they were at the drugstore for.
Maybe they were getting their birth control or a card. Probably not. Makeup, possibly, but not gum. No, you gotta
I
back
mean,
that up.
we went to the drugstore to get sodas back when they had a soda fountain.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah, that
That
was
was so
pretty cool.
nice.
Enjoyed
Yeah.
the hell out of that. But the idea
Mhm.
is it's right there in the neighborhood. You're picking up stuff at the drugstore regularly anyway. Prescriptions, little odds and ends, little meds, antibiotics, whatever.
At least every 30 days.
Gum. So you pick up a couple of pair of pantyhose. Great idea. But how often do you have that opportunity where you see something that nobody else knows or is aware of that makes people genuinely happy? If you do, buy the company. But how often does that happen? Doesn't happen that often. So picking out a stock can be a pain in the ass. And most people may even pick a decent company. Flip side is they don't know when to sell it and how to reinvest the proceeds in, what to reinvest the proceeds in. Thank you, KP. I appreciate you coming through for me there.
It was funny though. I just had to, because women, of course, go to the drugstore to buy gum.
When I was in high school, we would carpool, and the folks we'd ride with, oftentimes we'd always stop by a little Quick Mart that was on the way to school, just a few blocks from it. And we'd I always run in and buy these big packs of gum. Not that I chewed gum.
Yeah. You just had to have some gum. So why else would your mom ever go to the pharmacy?
Every hot chick in school would come up to me sometime during the day and ask if I had gum.
Dude, my son did that. You have no idea. Wait, no,
it works like a charm.
Oh my God. Like every morning he would have to go by the convenience store on the way to school. And I'm like, what is the deal? So I gave him like $2 or $3. And he was like, Mom, I didn't have enough money. And I'm like, he was like, but she gave it to me anyway. I was like, what did you get? He's like, 4 packs of gum. I was like, why? He was like, because Michaela and Lisa. And I was like, really? You're getting it for checks.
It works like a charm.
Oh my God.
So y'all can sit there and say, I don't go to the drugstore for gum.
Wait. This was almost 20 years ago. And he didn't have, this is a convenience store, not a drugstore. He didn't have enough money for the gum. So the girl gave it to him for 4 packs. I'm like, I thought you needed a pack of gum.
She understands the need. She understands that how vital this is to that young man and his social future, his sense of well-being.
My little dude
ability
is
to spread the Quan in the high school.
Clay will
and
tell
that's
you
where I became an ambassador of Quan.
Oh God. Clay will tell you my little dude is pretty darn handsome.
Yeah, it was, you got to get them coming to you. See, you don't want to chase all the time. Anyway, I'm actually veering off in a whole separate discourse here, but it worked well.
No, but my son is a very cute dude. I cannot say he's not. He's very handsome and he's charming. He does all the things, but the gum. What's the deal with the gum?
Yeah, I tried to kind of avoid the obvious. I thought gum was a nice segue, but there we go.
Yeah, no one goes to pharmacies, especially back then. I'm sorry, don't mean to give your age away. Back then, for gum. Never ever.
Good days, good times.
Sorry. Moving on. No, that's too long. Let's do a short one. Shorter one. Yeah, we did that. We're not doing that one. We did that. Did that. This
Here you
one?
go. Yep. We can do this one.
Mm-hmm.
Now this one, I'm actually going to
This one means that Gen X is screwed.
If you want to know what you can afford, what you'll do, what you'll have at retirement, you're basically asking what if questions in terms of money, cash flows. So what you need to do is just Google financial calculator.
Wait, is this like a UNCW?
No, that's just the
Plug?
default on my
Oh, gotcha.
thing. Sorry. That was
No,
not
you're
an
fine.
ad, or the school has nothing to do with this show. It's just a opening page for the browser.
Okay, by the way, hey Sky Ricky. We
Hey,
appreciate
Sky
you.
Ricky, good to see you. Times have changed. Now you need a Ferrari to get the girls in high school to talk to anyone.
I don't know where you live. But you could probably do with a Honda around here. I don't know.
Yeah, my Harley always worked.
Yeah, a Honda and a pack of gum. That's all you need.
Harley.
No,
Harley
a
and
Honda and a pack of gum is all you need.
You're gold.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is, how much will I have sometime in retirement?
I was supposed to read that one too.
So this page, financial calculator.
True, crazy cat queen. Sorry.
Now, how do I want to say this? Because I'm I'm scared to start saying anything, because I'll get another story. But when you're talking about money, you want to know, if you invest so much a month or a year over a period, what will it grow to at some rate of interest? So any kind of question along those lines is what we call a time value of money calculation. This is a time value of money calculator. It's got 5 variables: future value, the payment, the interest rate, the number of periods or time, and present value. So if I think, when I want to retire, I'm 22, let's say I'm 20 years old. I want to retire when I'm 65. And I get my kids in class to do this on their calculators, try to teach them, how to use these calculators.
Good luck with that.
But they actually learn. This is something that you can use to calculate your house payment if you're trying to figure out how much house you can afford, etc. What happens to your payment if the interest rate shifts? All these kind of questions. Everybody ought to have a basic fundamental understanding of a financial calculator. So you've got these 5 variables, 2 rules. 1, the calculator doesn't know the direction of money. So if you're making payments, money is going away from you. If you're receiving money, it's coming to you. So you use positive and negative signs to indicate payments. Money going away from you is negative. Money coming to you is positive.
Like accounting.
Second rule is that the number of periods has to be consistent for the timing of the periods has to be consistent for N, I to Y, and the payment. So if you're talking about monthly, you have to look at monthly payment, your monthly interest rate, your monthly number of periods. If you're looking at yearly, then you're looking at yearly interest rate, yearly payments. So if I'm 20 and going to retire when I'm 65, I've got 45 years. Stock market average is 12% per year. I'm going to invest $50 a month, which is $600 a year. I start off with nothing. So how much will I have to retire on? It's that simple. I will have $814,000. And you'll notice this is a negative because I had my payment as a positive. If I put my payment as a negative, it becomes positive. So that's just direction of money, of the cash flow. Now, instead of periods, instead of using years for periods, what if I said, I'm going to do $50 a month? It's still $600 a year, but I'm going to do it $50 a month. Well, 12 times 45 is 540. My interest rate, instead of 12% per year, is 1% per month. And my payment, instead of $600, is $50. So just that one change, going from an annual payment to a monthly payment, increased my investment by $200,000, from $800,000 to over $1 million. That's time value of money. That's the miracle of compounding. Now, so if I retire, yes, ma'am.
So let's say you're my age and KP's age and a few others, Brentwood Sheik and whoever, who are, let's say, because I am almost 47 years old, and Social Security is not going to be a thing, and you've done nothing else. What do you do?
What do you want?
To live.
Do you want to retire off $1,000 a month when you're...
Where's that coming from?
60. You got to find it and save. But if you want to know how much you have to save, this is how you find out. This doesn't create a plan for you. This just does the math for you. So if I'm 65, if I'm 70 and I want to live off $2,000 a month, okay, let's say I'm 70 and I think I'm going to live for at least 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to want to calculate a present value. How much money do I need to retire at age 70 to last me for 20 years at $2,000 a month, right?
Mm-hmm. Sorry
so
about that.
I'm calculating present value. So if I've got 20 years and I want a monthly payment, my periods need to be monthly. So 20 times 12 is 240. My interest per year, I still think I'm going to be invested in a stock mutual fund. So 1% per year. I know I'm going to want to receive, so it'll be positive, $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the 20 years, the future value, I'm willing to have zero. It's all paid out by then.
Gotcha.
So how much do I need to have when I hit 70 to meet those requirements? Well, calculate. I need $182,000. So now I'm like, okay, I'm 47.
Y'all, we're fucked. That's pretty much it.
I'm 47. I've got 23 years. 23 years. Till I need this $182,000.
Mm-hmm.
Need to do that. Sorry. So I want to know how much I need to save each month to get to $182,000 in 23 years, which is 276 months. My interest rate, I'm doing it monthly, doesn't change. and I'm starting with zero. So if I want to retire at age 70, $2,000
Okay.
a month, have at least 20 years, how much do I need to start saving now to get to that point? Is everybody with me in terms of the question?
I think so.
So you need to invest about $130 a month to reach that goal. Everybody with me? Does that make sense?
It's 240 months. 20 times 12.
Right here, $124 a month.
I'm looking at your payments, like number of periods. Wouldn't that be 240 for 20 years?
Well, you're 47. 70 is 23 years. 23 times 12 is 276.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what if I only earn 10% per year? Okay. Well, that affects my monthly return. 10 divided by 12 is 0.833. So here, 0.833. Now I need $170 a month, $171 a month. So if I want to be a little bit more conservative in my return projections,
Mm-hmm.
I need $171 a month
Gotcha.
for the next 23 years to have $182,000.
I want you to see what's down here.
Crazy Cat Queen. I really wish someone would have explained this to me when I was in my 20s. Way too late for me now.
It's not too late, honey.
It's not too late. And now is better than never.
Never. Yeah. My son actually, what he was 16, 17. I took him to one of Clay's courses at UNCW. And I was taking him back to school. Because yes, I took him out of school to learn about finance. Which I don't think is a bad thing. Yeah. No bad mom vibes there. But anyway, he came home and he was just like, he asked Clay and I both, he was like, why don't they teach this in high school? Like, why don't I already know this? Like, why isn't this a thing? Well, don't know. Wish they would. But I think everyone should take a finance course and a real estate course to learn about property and learn about money. And we're trying to do that here, I guess, slowly.
It's kind of the purpose of this channel. I ask my kids, how many of y'all want to be a millionaire by the time you retire? Everyone will raise their hands. I ask them, how many of you think you will be? And very few do. And then I'll ask, how many of you are willing to give up one night of drinking a month in order to be a millionaire? And most of them kind of hesitatingly put their hand up. $50 a month.
You're like, meh.
Yeah, $50 a month. If you're 20 to age 65, you've got 45 years. That's 540 months. Whoops. I need future value because this is what I'm calculating. I want to know what I will have in 540 months at 12% per year.
That's
if I put in
below average.
$50 a month. See, I'm back to the $1 million. So you're a millionaire if you give up one night of drinking.
Thank you, Brentwood Chic. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And, you think $50 a month, I can probably do that. But, I think I'll get a job in a few years. What if I bump it up to 100 in a few years? How do I do that? Well, same kind of math. Let's say in 5 years, you think you'll go from 50 to 100. So you'll only do 5 years at $50 a month. That's 60 months, right? So calculate that. Now I've got $4,083. So I'll put that. Now I jump 5 years ahead. I've got $4,083. And now instead of 45 years, I've got 40 years left till I'm 65. So 40 times 12 is 480. And instead of $50 a month, I'm going to save $100 a month. Boom. Now I'm at 1.6, 1.7 million.
All right. Can you pause for a sec?
Sure.
We got a few comments. This one right here. It was not excused absence, by the way.
You know, their schools, sometimes I think as little as schools teach or as poor of a job as they do educating oftentimes, they ought to encourage kids to do other things which will help them learn. Sky Ricky, I wish I was in your class at age 17 as well. I take that as a very high compliment. Thank you. I wasted so much money buying gum and pen. I will never say I wasted money buying gum.
No, but pantyhose.
I had some great moments there.
This one.
And I mean, when you're a 15-year-old kid in high school, let's face it, you've got, you're wondering where you stand.
My son was 13.
And then you've got seniors, hot seniors coming to you, asking you for a favor.
Oh, no, he had the cutest girl. What are you doing? The cutest girlfriend ever, and you know it. What is going on with this? Okay. Yes, Clay and I loved his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She was a doll.
She still is. We still talk to her.
Crazy Cat Queen actually had us in the black for about 6 weeks. Then Hurricane Michael destroyed us. I have difficulty even thinking about investing when my credit card interest is higher than my mutual fund. That's a fair point. Credit cards are 25, 27%. And if you can get that paid off, you got to do that really. Because that will consume you. That in order to grow and heal, sometimes you've just got to stop the pain first. So if you're paying 27, 28, 30% on credit cards, you've got to stop the bleeding and then try to start saving.
Where's the place that you start to, I know turning off lights, not using as much water. I know all your things, but how do you manage what you do spend money on and what you don't? Where's the budgeting there?
I used to have a doctor that, for example, instead of buying his wife some flowers for Valentine's Day, he bought her a rather large greenhouse and then had it stocked with 100 roses.
Oh, I thought you were going to say orchids.
No. Basically, seriously, not kidding, ended up taking this guy. It was the only thing I could think of. And it sounds childish, but it actually worked. And literally take his check each month and cash it, put it in envelopes. This envelope is for groceries. This envelope is for house. This envelope is for gas. And when that envelope was empty, he was done for the month. And just limiting, you just start off prioritizing and say, I have got to make these payments to exist. You cover those. Everything else, you limit. Some shape, manner, or form, even if you have to go to the envelope system. Credit cards are hard to limit because you forget what you put on it. And then at the end of the month, you think, I've got a couple hundred on it. Instead, you've got a couple thousand on it. I've seen this over and over and over with people. And I'm not saying that's, what's happening with anybody here. But you've got to find a way to stop the bleeding. If you don't have enough money, there's only two choices. You either increase income or you cut expenses. There's not a magical formula to do that.
No, there's not. I've got two really important posts. One of them is funny, and one of them is pretty serious.
I will tell my grandkids to buy gum for high school. What a great idea instead of buying Pokemon cards. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gum is the key to starting your path to being an ambassador of Quan. I ought to have cards print up. And once your child achieves this status, I can send them an official certificate.
Oh, do you know what you should do?
Quan.
What you should do is give the cards about how you insult women to get them to talk to you. I'm not kidding.
That was kind of in college.
Yeah, but that's okay. Okay, this is actually like I'm being serious. This one.
With the recession almost a certainty coming, where's the safest place to invest to start this retirement planning?
In your pocket.
Yeah, I've had my money in short-term funds, treasuries, money market, 3-month treasuries, 1-year treasuries, which right now are paying about 4.5%, 4.5%. Which is better than losing money. Now, the market to me is just crazy. Market is almost oblivious. How do I word this?
It doesn't make sense.
2 or 3 weeks ago, the market had a strong feeling or a high probability, and there are ways to gauge this feeling or probability using like WIRP, WIRP, World Interest Rate Projection, which is basically an estimate of what investors' futures think future interest rates will be based on trading. And as of a couple of weeks ago, the expectation was that interest rates, particularly in the U.S., had peaked and that, maybe even see cuts early in 2024. 2 weeks later, that's out the window. Everybody's thinking there's going to be at least one more hike, maybe 2 more hikes. And then a possibly leveling, sustaining of those higher rates for a while. Things are so weird. And the market today was up. I hadn't checked since close. I hadn't checked since about 1. The Dow was up 219 point. No. Dow was up 212 points. S&P was up 50. NASDAQ up 220. So, a day in the market. With a recession coming, with interest rates still going higher, with more companies going bankrupt, with certain inflection points in terms of defaults being hit. It's just stupid. The market can be stupider longer than you can be solvent.
Listen, hey, hang on.
I'm just saying, I'm still in cash, and if you want to know what I recommend what I'm doing. It's not financial advice. I'm not suggesting that fits everybody's situation or risk tolerance or my crystal ball is better than anybody else's. Actually, it is, but my track record is pretty decent. But to me, there's just so much uncertainty and so much risk that, particularly at my age, I'm very keen on avoiding significant downside movements. I'll give up some upside or potential upside in order to reduce my downside risk. And I'm not in and out of the market every day. Some people try to day trade it. I don't. So, for me, I can only tell you what I do. And I'm in cash, short-term treasuries, money markets, that kind of thing.
This is not financial advice. 1. 2, Clay forgets that I have ADHD on the nth level, and that if I try to say something and then he keeps talking, I forget what I was going to say. So anyway, here's a comment.
I want the compound interest, though. Don't we all?
Yeah, everyone
You're not
does.
alone. But
and we need it because we need. You talk all the time. We need it because we are Gen X and we have to have it. Like, we have paid in and it's gone. Chickens. I mean, I hate to be the asshole to say it, but there it is. Oh, Nicole. Yay. Thank you for being here.
ADHD. Nicole, you just made a ton of fans around here. I can't believe rates right now. When they were low a couple of years ago, the housing prices in my area doubled. They haven't gone down at all. A 2,000 square foot home, almost $600K, Utah. Yeah. Prices for raw materials like lumber have crashed.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of housing prices, we haven't seen housing prices nationally begin to drop because there was so little inventory. Demand for houses was so high. Inventory was just vacuumed up. And so there's so little inventory on there that houses still are turning over. You don't have a lot of people putting their houses on the market now. Prices have come down a little bit from their highs, but not nearly as much as you normally would expect. So what's the future hold? Well, mortgages are 7%, probably going even higher. So you can probably expect to see new housing come to a halt. People will just quit, refinancing, buying, getting new mortgages, buying new houses, and wait for the interest rates to come back down. Once they start doing that, then people who want to sell, who are retiring, who need to move, whatever, who need to sell, will start dropping the prices of their houses. So housing price reductions are probably in the works, but it may take higher interest rates. And that's one thing the Fed is looking at. They want, and this is going to sound weird, but they want to break the economy. They want people to slow down purchasing stuff to kill demand so that prices do start dropping. Housing prices have been in a bubble. The stimulus, my house increased, value of my house increased like 30% one year. It's just stupid.
And over the whole thing, at least doubled.
Yeah. So.
Okay, Nicole has ADHD, is working on her swoop. Her swoop.
Did you get a video of the doggies running past?
We never did a video of the dog. I sent her pictures of the doggies.
We need to get a video of like a doggy running past your camera. I'll throw the ball or something.
And I'm supposed to catch that. Yeah. Nicole, you just let me know how that works. How I can, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll be cute.
Okay.
I've got the vision.
Okay.
It still is by us, even with so much growth in building. Yeah, I'm on an island. They're not making any more lots here. So prices have held up pretty well. It's going to be location specific. I can only talk about the nation as a whole, but that doesn't mean the impact is necessarily going to hit in your locale. There's still a lot of people who want to get out. There's I saw a poll the other day, 60% of the employed people in California want to move out. Those who can are still going to be moving out. Companies are going to relocate from there.
we want to move out. I mean, and get to somewhere with less people, less. Listen, we have so many tourists here, and in the summer it's almost painful. You can't drive anywhere. It's just different. It's not what we actually moved here for, which was kind of peace and quiet, which what it used to be. It's turned in, especially when COVID was there. When COVID came, our beach opened up first, and so we had everyone here, and it's been nonstop since. It's just not what we signed up for.
Now, Nicole, I don't know if it'll happen here. There aren't rentals. Growth in our area is constant. People moving here for jobs from California. Interest rate is just punishing.
Yeah.
I bought my first house at 12%.
Oof. Reagan?
Yeah, in 81, when Greenspan was jacking the rates way up.
Yep.
Now, as soon as the rates started falling, I refinanced it at, I forget what, 6%, whatever. So, but I wanted to go ahead and secure the house. I liked the house. They needed to sell. The price was right. So I went ahead and bit the bullet on the higher interest rate for a year or two. And that'll still happen in some locales. And people come down here from New York, Philadelphia, Boston. The houses here are expensive according to what we had 5-10 years ago, but they're still a third or a half the price of what they sold their house for.
Mm-hmm.
So they're happy to pay that for the houses. Again, it's going to be location specific. You can have housing in, throughout the nation start to drop or decline or even crash. But there are some locales where it's just not going to be the case. You may be in one of those. Brentwood Chic. Things are crazy in my area due to everyone coming from other states. Yeah, we're in the same boat here. A lot of people came down here to vacation and liked it. Now that they're retiring or can work remotely, they've decided this is where they want to live. So we're getting a huge influx of people from the north.
I think there are 5 lots for sale on the island?
Yeah, as of a year ago, there were only 20 lots left on the whole island. And
now
obviously that's gone down some. Some of the old houses have been bought just for the lot, tear down the house, build a newer, bigger house on it. It's crazy. Nicole, but a $900K home at 12%, that's 3,000 square foot and 4 beds. That payment is rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And that's, if that's what the market is bearing, there's just not a whole lot of alternatives. You can try moving further out, move away, whatever. But those, for a lot of people, aren't really alternatives. You got kids, you want to stay in your neighborhood, you want to keep your friends, you want to keep your school.
That's the same market that we have around here. I mean, you get a postage stamp lot and you can get a 3,000 square foot home with 4 bedrooms, but you're going to pay at least that, if not more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stupid in some locales, but it's likely to get stupider. That's no comfort. That's no great solution. That's just a practical reality.
The fact is, though, that we can't actually go rent. If we sold this house that we're in, we can't go rent anything cheaper than the mortgage payment. So you're kind of like, what do you do? I mean,
I refinanced my house 2 years ago at 2.5%. So for me to sell the house and rent something, I'd be paying more in rent than I'm making in payment. That just doesn't. And not only that, there's really not anything available for rent in the area. So I don't want to sell the house and then have an hour-long commute to work every day.
No. We could go to Burgal and live there, but it would,
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a picture of the dog standing full body? I can make them run.
We can get one. Let me think on. Do you need them like the side view of them standing? Is that what you need? Let me know, Nicole.
Yeah, we'll get you something here shortly. And you take whatever you think is best. We'll get you probably several things, and then you take whatever you think is best, and we'll love it.
And we're grateful for you being here. Thank you
Very much.
very much. Yes. And Sandra, thank you. Brentwood Chic, KP, all the people.
All the peoples, all the peeps, all the family.
You guys are the best. And it's, as Sandra knows, and Sandra handled the problem while we were streaming last week. Sandra takes care of all the things as well. And we appreciate you, Sandra. I don't even have the words.
Yeah.
To express how grateful we are for you.
We just, we've met some pretty incredible people through this medium. It still surprises me. It's unusual, but you really do develop some good friends with some good people. And so we are very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, I think Clay was like, YouTube what? I'm like, just do it. There's good people.
Well, yeah, why didn't she tell me this years ago?
Because I just kind of figured it out like a year or two ago.
Crazy Cat Queen. So grateful for my 0.6 acres. It's the only thing I have ownership of. I have a double wide on it with 2 mortgages post-disaster, and the land is mine. If I have to, I can put a 10 on it. There's just something mighty satisfactual when you can say the land is mine. My father was an old Iowa farm boy. His family was tenants, but he always loved the soil. He always loved the dirt. And I guess I've gotten some of that from him. But I like, plodding out and around in my, with my roses, and, I sit there and stare at them and look at them and examine. I do it every day, sometimes a couple times a day. It's not that anything has greatly changed. It just is mighty satisfactual. And so there is something to say for owning your land, having your land. So congrats on that.
Yes, that's awesome. And if anyone knows anything about, dipping roses or daylilies in, thanks, in resin or wax or whatever to preserve them, because there are so many of you that I would love to send some of our roses to, but I know they won't make the trip because it may take several days. But if y'all know how to preserve them that way, I mean, our daylilies are just like insane. They are so pretty. I want to share them all with you. I just don't know how to preserve them to do so. So if you guys have any idea how to do that, please let me know. Is that fair?
Between two towns, I'm glad I made a live. These Tuesday night streams I'll be able to make.
Oh, good. We will do them.
We'll do it again. Just for you. No, we very much. We're looking forward to it. This has, been kind of a fun evening. And we love having you here.
Crazy Cat Queen, you're right. I think Rob might be able to tell me. But I really want to send them to you guys. I just don't know how. But Rob,
tell you how to ship roses?
Know how to preserve them. If y'all would reach out to him, he responds to me like on occasion. He's not real good. He's not the
Tell
best
him he sucks at
communicator.
Tell him he sucks at
Rob.
responding.
Rob, you suck at getting back to me about things. I'm just saying. I would love your help. Yeah. But Sky Ricky, I would rather just send you a rose. I mean, why not? Maybe I can put them in like tiny things of resin. Okay. Rob.
Well, Rob, get to work.
Chop. Get on it.
All right, you guys. It's been, we've had a good time. Very much so.
We love y'all.
Love having
Thank
you.
you.
We're pushing beyond Ellen's bedtime.
It is my bedtime.
So
Like I get that night.
want to really just tell you we love you and greatly appreciate you being here with us tonight. For those of you on the replay crew, love you
We
too.
love you more.
And hope you
Or
can
just
join
as
us
well.
some Tuesday night or next Tuesday night. Now
Yes.
we'll put up another post on the community page. Obviously, if you have some questions or a topic that you want to see addressed, post it. Those will be the first ones we deal with. If y'all like the format, we'll pull off some more of these random ones from various sources, Reddit or wherever. But this is really, for you. And hope you take advantage of it some. Let us know. We love you.
All right.
Y'all have a great
We love
night.
you guys. Night.
Good night. Blessings to you.